Come on.
There, it came on live. I just saw it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doc, we're live and we're way up in space. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first live experiment of a show in our new undisclosed location. We have a new place that we are streaming from so that we can stream live. And it's been an adventure already, Doc. What do you say? You there, Doc? Oh,
I'm here.
okay.
I am just excited we made it. Yes, we have a new studio under construction, so y'all are going to have to bear with us tonight, guys, because poor Phil has his little fingers to the bone. He has been working full-time job. He has been helping Chris Mack with the Mac files, and he single-handedly built himself a new studio. So we got to give him a hand. So and got us on the air on time. We might have a few glitches, but y'all bear with us. So can y'all hear me okay? Because I have a new mic. How's my sound coming through tonight?
Oh, how are we doing out there? Oh, I just moved us, so trying to see how we're doing, but my internet connection on my phone is not great, so let's see. Can you see any comments, Doc?
I am seeing some people in here, so I'm gonna. Fritz Adrian is the bomb, and yes, he is. I'm just gonna take it, run with it. I'm so glad you're here. We should have just so excited this week. I've been so excited this week because um, the taste of vindication is so. I am saying it's the best calorie ever. You know how I told you before, sometimes you get a dessert that looks really good, but when you eat it, you go, "Ah, I wasted my calories on that. It didn't even taste that great." Honey, victory and vindication and no obstruction and no collusion tastes wonderful. So I have just been ecstatic.
And don't buy
Is
new,
everybody
folks.
hearing you? I'm blasting you out. Sounds as good. Well, good deal, because we've had a great week of winning, so y'all can't miss a word. We've got so much to celebrate. Our wonderful president, as we knew he would, was vindicated totally this week. They are left with but crumbs, because that's all that the 13 angry Democrats left them with was crumbs. They can try to piece it back together and make a cake out of it, but isn't going to happen. So it's been a very great week. Phil, were you really excited to hear all the news? Wasn't that great?
Yes, it was. Oh, you know what I've got for you, Doc? I did pull up this for you. Let's see. It says, no collusion, no obstruction for the haters and the radical left Democrats. Game over. So I got the Game of Thrones tweet there that President Trump threw out. And it looks like our internet connection is not so good right now for
He's
some
always so
reason.
timely
Yeah,
and
yes, he is.
up to date on current. I think we may be having a little bit of sound technical difficulties. But if you're hearing, you should be able to get a loud 5 by 5 that our president was vindicated, and now the tables have turned and the pain is coming because um, I think we've just got so much coming with the FISA declass. You know, he tweeted out this week that he was going to be declassifying all that, which of course we knew was happening. So that is just a great warning shot over the bow of the liberal Democrats as we know them today. Did we have a clip of that we were going to be playing?
What clip of, I'm sorry, Doc, what was that? I'm looking at the screens here trying to get the internet stable. For some reason it's unstable, but, was that on the opportunity zones?
Are we having good sound? Yes, I think we ought to go right into it because that covered really a multitude. It was just, it's amazing to me how POTUS is not only excellent in strategizing, but he is able to initiate a grassroots movement that has so many tentacles that affects so many different sectors of our society that really needs help. So if you want to go ahead and get us started on that, then we can go into greater detail about it because our opportunity zones as they called them, have spread exponentially. The opportunity has spread exponentially, and I think we had a little bit of a clip that we were playing.
Yes, we do. Let me pull that up.
Because then I can itemize all the things I think about it. While you're pulling that up, just in case you're unaware and didn't catch it, POTUS talks about in this clip all the different things that they did. They lowered the capital gains tax to zero. They also introduced a collaboration that enables the federal, state, and private organizations to fully collaborate. So it's going to be areas of new territory that, I mean, it's just opened it up for explosion. So have we got that clip yet?
Yes, the opportunity zones. Yes, we do.
I think, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play Senator Scott's portion of the clip first, Doc. He was...
Oh, that's him.
Here we go.
Let me ask you about your economic opportunity zones. This is something, of course, that would lower the tax and try to create incentives to bring in investment into rural and urban communities. Talk to me about where we're at with this process.
Well, we're moving forward. The good news is all the governors of the country have already established their opportunity zones in each state. The goal is to bring private sector dollars to harmonize with government dollars to make sure that those communities that have not seen the type of economic recovery that the rest of the country has seen has a chance to be hopeful, because new dollars, private sector dollars, are coming in to challenge some of the poverty that's been too persistent in too many areas. So I'm excited about it because I grew up in those communities, raised in a single-parent household, so I understand the potential that we find in some of those challenging communities. And the good news from my perspective is having a chance to excavate that potential through economic development.
You know, so much of what we talk about here on Bloomberg is trying to get those public-private partnerships, trying to get the type of the investment into many of these communities. This is a Jack Kempian type of policy that has been espoused for quite some time. But let me get your response to what Democrats and say, well, you're just moving and reshifting some of these zones around. What's the response to that criticism?
Well, two things. I'll take a step back first and address the Jack Kemp approach. Jack Kemp created the enterprise zones because he wanted government to do more in private sector in those communities that needed help. Unfortunately, that fell a little short, so the goal was to make up the difference through the private sector engagement. My legislation was co-sponsored by Senator Peters, Senator Booker, Senator Bennett, all Democrats. We had a bipartisan coalition supporting the legislation. So the good news from my perspective is the mayors consistently Democrats are all excited about this. The governors, a lot of them of whom are Republicans, excited about it. This is not a partisan piece of legislation. This is an American piece of legislation focusing on those folks who need it the most. This is not shifting resources. There are $2 trillion sitting on the sidelines, capital gains that have gone nowhere because there's just been too many hurdles to reinvest in some of the most powerful and high potential communities. This lowers that burden, and we'll see a surge of opportunities in distressed communities.
And I think it's interesting, particularly with capital gains, because, you know, when you talk about just how polarized this country has become, but then you take a look at some of the challenges facing rural America as well as urban communities, things like infrastructure, telecommunication, internet investment. How does this type of legislation help all of these communities that, you know, are very different in terms of politics, but facing some of the same challenges?
That's a really good question, Kevin. I was in Iowa with Governor Reynolds over the last weekend, and one of the things that we tried to focus on, along with Joni Ernst, was focusing on rural poverty. There are some industries that have a lot of success in the rural areas, agriculture being one of the best ones. So when we focus attention on providing the infrastructure in those areas that desperately need it, we're actually focusing on a long-term positive return on the invested dollar when we do that. So it is easy for us to overlook some communities. The good news is governors like my governor, Henry McMaster in South Carolina, and the governor of Iowa, they're working hard to make sure that we don't forget the rural parts of our communities that are experiencing high unemployment rates as well as high poverty rates, which means lower levels of hope We need to make that different, and we can, and the opportunity zones have done so. So if you think about new infrastructure, whether it's broadband, whether it's the tangible infrastructure coming into those communities, making them more attractive for invested dollars, this is one of the ways that we do that.
The president touting that 4.1 second quarter GDP growth earlier today. There's been a lot of talk about trade recently. You've had some criticisms of the president with regards to trade policy. Where are you at in terms of how the president has left things this week with the European Union following that meeting with Mr. Juncker?
Well, the one word that comes to mind is I can finally exhale just a little bit. I'll be honest with you. We've been holding our breath in a lot of parts of the country, hoping for something good to happen. Yesterday, last 2 days, we've seen some reasons to be positive and optimistic about avoiding a trade war with the EU. I'm not sure how close we're going to get to that zero barrier. I'm not sure that everyone wants us to get there. But the fact of the matter is, both sides taking a step back allows folks like me to exhale. As a free trader myself, I love to think that we can find a way to move more of our products and resources out of this country into markets without barriers, because we've done the same for the rest of the world here at home. So our consumers have benefited. We believe that their consumers can benefit from fewer barriers for our products and services to come into their markets.
We've seen that with Europe. What about with China? Where are you at in terms of where trade relations are with China?
Yeah, when you think about near peer competition, Secretary Mattis said it well, that China has become one of the two largest threats to the United States. The reason why they have become so is because they've been able to steal our IP, our intellectual property. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we're looking for is to set up headwinds or to create hurdles for the Chinese to continue to force our companies or to compel our companies to share with them trade secrets. One of the ways that we're doing that is through CFIUS, which I think is a great, CFIUS is a legislation if you're familiar with it. Another way that we do that is by entering into long, strong trade negotiations to make sure as they send more than $500 billion worth of products to our country that they understand and appreciate the necessity of having integrity in the process. The president is trying to reset those negotiations.
Okay, good little clip there. If you're sticking with us on our...
Take it on because none of the other presidents ever wanted to touch it. Excuse me, I got so excited.
That's all right, Doc. It's our first live show, so if you're sticking with us, we are having some internet issues, so thank you for sticking with us. Don't know what the problem is, but it looks like OBS keeps dropping frames for some reason. I don't know why. My internet connection is at 100%, so we'll keep plugging along, and hopefully...
It's real is all I can say.
It can only happen to us, Doc, right?
You know what? I hope the message gets out there. I hope the message gets out there. This is the first president that was willing to do something about the trade agreements. The others sold us down the river and just turned a blind eye because they didn't want to have to do anything. This president has the cojones to actually get in there and negotiate. And I bet you 90-0, before we're celebrating very long, we're going to be celebrating a new trade agreement with China, because I think there's been a lot of movement behind the scenes that they have not been really heralding just yet, because it isn't written in stone. But my understanding is that the negotiations have been going very well. And again, Senator Scott touched on that. They lowered the capital gains to zero because under Obama, it was sky high. What business can open or sustain itself under that kind of burden? When they have zero, they can reinvest it in equipment. They can invest it in their people. They can give them, benefits they can afford to, because a lot of people don't realize an employer, as an insurance broker, one of the things I deal with all the time is helping employers understand, when they look at offering benefits, what kind of costs is going to be associated with it. Most carriers require the employer to pay a percentage of the insurance premiums if they're going to be offering insurance benefits to their employees, like at the tune of 75%. Plus, you have to have requirements on participation. You have to have proof that they work for you. You have to have proof if they have benefits available through their spouse. All of those kind of things. And now people with a 0% capital gains, they can afford to pick a little bit of that. They can afford to give them a raise if the employee can afford it. They can do all of these things. They can also partnership with governmental agencies in ways that they haven't been able to before. The federal collaboration and encourage their collaboration with private sector. That's where we gain. Anytime the private sector can do something for itself, that is what they're supposed to do. The government is supposed to give us protect liberties and get the hell out of our way. And again, it takes our great Donald Trump as president to see this and do something about it. So get my dander up, get me excited on that night. I might have to get my out. I think I should have anyway, because our POTUS was vacated. Isn't that the best news ever? We should have been starting this broadcast out with Cool the Gang again. Celebrate. I won't give up my day job, but you get the drift. It was that huge. Because guys, now Trump's saying to the left, you took your best shot, hold my beer. You'll see what I paid. And it's great.
Well, Doc, we're already halfway through.
So I know it's hard for you to get into edgewise. I'm going to let you talk for just a minute, Phil.
Well, you know what? Instead of talking, I'm going to.
Someone in the chat asking about Doc's show. That's not rude to ask. That's not rude to ask. Ask away. When is it? 10 p.m. Saturday. Doc and Phil D'Angelo. Phil D'Angelo. And the sultry southern tones of the Southern Belle, Doc Martin. 10 p.m. Saturday. There you go. That's not rude. Someone in the chat asking about Doc's show. That's not rude to ask. That's not rude to ask. Ask away. When is it? 10 p.m. Saturday. Doc and Phil D'Angelo. Phil D'Angelo. And the sultry southern tones of
Okay, we're back. We're back. We have audio again. We did our shameless plug. That's okay. Thank you, Boogie Bumper, for that. And I know we're having issues tonight, so we're already halfway through. And at least we'll finish on time tonight, Doc. What do you say? Can we get a woohoo?
Well, only if you make me. I never surrender a time to talk willingly, but if y'all make me go, I guess I will. Because, another thing that was pointed out, the little guy, Scott Turner, I believe we also have a clip of it if the internet is going to cooperate. But he pointed out something that I was so tickled about. I had stolen it several weeks ago. And he pointed out, that being an American doesn't have a color. It doesn't know a skin tone. It doesn't know anything but a belief in liberty, a belief in freedom, and a belief that if we don't fight for it, it ain't going to be there for our kids. So I'm just very, very excited to have a president that encourages people to be patriotic, to see the good that America has brought to this world, because the world would never have been what it is, has ever been. The good that has ever been has been mainly brought about, I believe, by the shining light on the hill, and that's America. So I'm just very excited to get to celebrate it, and I'm so excited to see somebody as on fire for it as Scott Turner was. He did point out that our skin color is American. It didn't, they want to divide us by everything, as we've talked about it before, race, gender, whatever. But you know what? I don't know those boundaries as an American. I know that everybody here tonight loves our country like I do and has a passion for it. And we're not going to be hiding our light under a bushel anymore. So I'm just glad you're brave enough to join me to it, Phil, in celebrating all this. stuff.
Oh, Doc, we're gonna move right into. We're gonna skip a few things because of our technical issues, and I'm gonna go right into a little winning video. So
It wouldn't be Camp Goss if we didn't have any technical issues.
of course not, but we're still going. We're still plugging along. I see that internet's in the red again. I don't know if it's my red hat. Maybe I should get a green hat.
Well,
That says Make America Great.
we don't care.
All right, we're gonna play that video.
I am going to be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. Remember that.
The unemployment rate slipped down to 3.8%. That is the lowest we have seen since 2000. Another tenth of a percentage point there, and you'd have the lowest unemployment rate since 1969.
My economic team is developing historic tax reform that will reduce the tax rate on our companies so they can compete and thrive anywhere and with anyone. At the same time, we will provide massive tax relief for the middle class. The biggest tax cut, biggest reform of all time. So it's an honor to have you with us, and we will sign this right now. I am looking to appoint judges very much in the mold of Justice Scalia.
President Trump picks Judge Neil Gorsuch as his nominee for the U.S. Supreme Court.
I am calling for one of the largest defense spending increases in history. We will give the men and women of America's armed services the resources you need to keep us safe. We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
May the opening of this embassy in this city spread the truth far and wide, and may the truth advance a lasting peace between Israel and all our neighbors. God bless the United States of America.
I will lift the restrictions on the production of shale, oil, natural gas, and clean oil. Okay. Keystone Pipeline. We ordered that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. The people in the media heard me say that during the campaign many, many times. For every one new regulation, we have eliminated 22. We will always defend the very first right in the Declaration of Independence, and that is the right to life. We have kept another promise. My administration has proposed a new rule to prohibit Title X funding from going to any clinic that performs abortions.
I know that. I had to stop it there for you, Doc. I know that makes you very, very happy, especially on. That's a good point to bring up on this Easter weekend. Oh, let's roll tape.
And, one of our rapid fire points, just if I could stick it in here real quick, they had a huge number of abortion workers that after the Unplanned movie has come out, that have left the abortion industry and that they've helped them find their jobs. So again, y'all, we're on the right side. We're standing on the side of life. And it feels good. It feels so good.
That's right, Doc.
So I'll let you continue now.
I do have that tweet.
Thank you.
I will put that tweet up for you too. As soon as we're done looking at.
You knew I was about to bust a gut. I wanted to yell so much.
Oh, I had to stop it there for you.
People who are terminally ill should not have to go from country to country to seek a cure. I want to give them a chance right here at home. It's time for Congress to give these wonderful, incredible Americans the right to try. We are finally giving these wonderful Americans the right to try. Together, we're going to deliver real change that once again puts America first. That begins with immediately repealing and replacing the disaster known as Obamacare.
Individual mandate is being repealed. When the individual mandate is being repealed, that means Obamacare is being repealed.
In May, the private sector was on fire. 218,000 new jobs added.
That is a wow number. Overall, an economy that is on a rock-solid footing.
The market is well positioned. We're sitting right off the all-time highs.
It is called, I believe, a return to prosperity.
And that was out from the Donald Trump promises kept. No, the RNC. I'm sorry. We want to be factually correct. That was from the RNC YouTube channel. Promises kept. Oh, I wonder where they got that name. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not accusing the RNC of stealing our show. We probably took it from them. Oh, you know what I got first, Doc? I got something fun, and we haven't talked about this person yet. But you know what? Before we do that, we do want to talk about how the tax cuts really did help 93. I think it was 93 to 98% of Americans got a lower tax bill this year.
Yes, they did.
Was it
and
93?
You know what? The mainstream media, would have you believe that people were not getting as big a refunds and that they were very unhappy about it. And in fact, there was an upsurge in the number of people getting them. And I just so happened to have looked up that little tidbit. Let me pull that right up. According to H&R Block, based on their clients' tax returns, taxes are down an average of 24.9%. That means what people are paying into the federal government is down 24.9%. Yay. Refunds are up on average 1.4%. Biweekly paychecks, people living paycheck to paycheck, on average seeing an increase of $50 on their paychecks. So every one of those numbers, by every measure imaginable, we're winning. And you know what? I remember, I believe, some left-wing libtards that were saying that those were just crumbs. Well, you know what? Those crumbs taste delicious whenever they're on your table. So I just want to say, Nancy Pelosi, wrong again, as usual. What is she not wrong about?
What is she not right about?
She even said the Dems are socialists this week. I lost my ledge on that one. And she said AOC isn't running the party. I'm telling you, she should leave politics up and take being a comedian.
Oh.
I think she thinks if she says it often enough, and with that look she uses, I think she thinks she might actually can. I mean, I don't know how much longer she can keep this shit up, but honey, America's done a lot. We left you in the dust a long time ago, and you're going to see that in 2020. We're going to take the house back. I'm telling you, she and AOC and all ilk are the best advertisements that we can get for Donald and the MAGA agenda.
Oh, definitely, Doc. Definitely, I love it. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm trying to.
She's a piece of work, as my lady always said.
I'm looking at my phone for some reason. The Periscope chat doesn't work, so hopefully we can get this resolved on the chat, because I can't see it on my phone. I've been trying to get Restream to bring it up, but that's not working also. So hopefully next week I don't know what the problem is with my phone. Hasn't worked for Periscope chat in a long time. It works intermittently, so.
Well, guys, I'm sorry. I can see chat on my iPad, but I'm not talented enough to read it and look at y'all talk to you too. So I'm going to have to practice up on that next week. But for another day, what can we say? Can't be perfect the first time around. And besides, I think everybody here is so excited about the topics that they don't care if we have a little glitch here and there. But we're going to keep working on it and getting better every week. So I'm just glad to see everybody here helping us celebrate. And, you know, another person, I don't know if you had the clip, but another person that gets very little attention, though she should, and gets very little thanks. And I was so excited to get to talk about our wonderful FLOTUS, Melania. She was such a class act. She just makes my heart happy that she's representing America. She does it with such grace and aplomb, and she is so elegant, which, as we all know, is a little bit of a change for the White House. But do we have any of the footage for her, for Miss Melania? She looks smashing. We got to all watch her. She is just too gorgeous.
Here we go. I got it. Isn't she a great first lady? Can you picture?
She's exquisite, and she
Never really saw a lot of video.
She is just exquisite, and she is just such a sweet person. Just obviously really loves America. You know, that's the thing that, again, you know, it's so patriotic, so kind of love our country again. It's the one of the things that I think makes them so genuine and so authentic is their love of country, their love for veterans, their appreciation for people that have been blessed with so much, even though it's through hard work. It is so nice and refreshing to see the patriotism, to see the people that really honestly love our military and values them. And that just makes me love them more. So, and a big shout out to the beautiful punch she had on with that gorgeous floral coat. All the girls in the audience will appreciate that. She is masterful. And Lizo, Michael in the shade, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, you know what? I can finally see some chat on my Restream chat. I still can't see it in Periscope, but I'll keep an eye on it now. Among the 1,500 other things I'm trying to do at the same time, I don't know how James, Chris Mack, and Boogie do it.
I can't do it all, so I just have to sit here and look pretty.
But Doc, I do have
you know,
a
another big thing
screenshot.
that happened this week, Phil, was, you know, something that was really exciting was President Trump signed the EO formalizing the Colorado River's drought contingency plans. Did you get to hear that?
Yes, I did. I tried to locate the tweet, but I ran out of time as I was moving our equipment to the undisclosed location.
Well, I
so
can
that we
give
could live stream.
the basics of it if you don't have it.
Go right ahead,
But
and I'll read the chat while you're doing it.
Okay. Well, what I ascertained from what I read this week was, you know, there was 7 states that are dependent on the Colorado River, and they banded together and formulating a plan for the drought, because there's been an extended severe drought, and the requirements that the participants are putting on the river is more than they actually generate. So more resources are allocated than what they actually have coming in. And what this will do is will allow them through 2026, it allows them to protect the water that serves all of these communities. Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and I think California were the states. And Arizona was going to be hit the hardest. So I'm really glad to see that they are working on that, and that President Trump again helped sign that into play. That was brought by Kristen Sinema and McSally. So though she might not have been our MAGA candidate of choice, I think that she has stepped up to the plate in several areas. So we've got that to be thankful for. And it was a great thing. So coming from a state along those water, and that water is a very precious commodity, I can certainly appreciate it, and was very excited about that. So just another win in our MAGA agenda this week, don't you think?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, you know what? There was a comment in the chat, Tigress 2420, and I don't have my glasses, so and I don't have all my lights on in our new location, but grandparents are the best. And I lost my grandpa, I think it's grandpa, when I was still in high school. Yes, I agree, grandparents are the best. I lost both of mine. I only had two, but you still think of them every day, so I like your comment. I'm reading the comments, Doc, while you're running the show.
I don't have any left, but I sure did enjoy it when I had them. I'm telling you that. My papa used to make elderberry wine, and my granny, they were very strict Collegiate Baptist, which is a very conservative brand of Southern Baptist. And they come where they only wear dresses, and you couldn't play cards in the house, and I mean, just all these rules. And I always used to laugh because Papa would go out to the shed, and he'd bring Granny back a little glass of elderberry wine, and she would look at me because she knew I was looking at her like, you were getting on to Papa about making that elderberry wine. She'd say it was for medicinal purposes only. So she's my kind of woman, a little medicinal, never hurt anybody. So anyway, I did also on our rapid fire, before we lose our time, I wanted to remind everybody that Nevada, we've got a call to action on the 24th. Arizona is going to be voting on the popular vote. So everybody needs to get out while they're scouring for their person to register to vote this week. Because remember, we're all trying to get at least one person a week registered to vote. And you should be starting to kind of eye your candidates and start preparing for who we're going to run in our states to primary the rhinos that are currently in office. Because we're going to take new ground, guys, and we've got to primary out our rhinos. So be sure and be looking for the, who you think is up and coming in your state as far as, having a viable MAGA candidate. And if we don't have one, that needs to be you. So think about it and looking about, think about who's going to run. Should you be running? Should you step up? How are you getting involved? How are you going to support them? We've got to have a game plan, guys. I believe firmly that it's going to be a landslide, but I never leave anything up to chance, and we got to have us a game plan. Just like POTUS always says, we got to think 10 steps ahead, because remember, they try to out-cheat any games that we have. So we got to outsmart them and plan ahead and get our ground game up and running. Go to the local old folks home and see if there's anybody there that needs help getting to a place to vote. or see if they're registered to vote, or if you need to help them. Hang out in front of your supermarkets. Try not to look weird while you're doing it because we don't want anybody to think you're a lurker or anything, or a stalker. But hang out, hand out. Hand them a voter registration. And when you're about to walk off, give them your list of candidates. Find a way to get involved because we can't leave this to chance. It's too important. And 2020 really is already right around the corner.
That's right, Doc. And remember, we put it out there.
President Trump has
Sorry. We put it out there a couple of weeks ago to at least try to get one person registered to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Red, all the way down, vote for Trump, of course. And try to get that person to at least get one person. Because if Scott Pressler's out there getting, I don't know, he's probably up to thousands of people registered already, right? We can at least get one, right?
That's it.
We can do one, right? Everybody in the audience, we can do one. All our viewers, we can do one.
Heck yeah, we can do one, if not more. We just got to decide we're going to do it. Because, if POTUS is doing all these great things with, the opportunity zones, where, he's pointing out that our unemployment rate has fell to the lowest number in 50 years, guys. Think about it. I'm level 57. That means I was 7 years old the last time it was at these levels. Plus, the wages are rising at phenomenal rate. Plus, it's rising in the sectors that need it the most. Number one, the communities like our African American communities, our Hispanic communities, the women's sector, all of these things are rising at an exponential rate. He has lowered our taxes. They're doing everything they can but vote for you. So we've got to do our part and vote. Go get somebody excited about it. Show your enthusiasm. Because remember, guys, we've only got 6 more years of President Trump. Well, President Trump Sr., I should say.
Hey,
so we've
Doc,
got to enjoy every second. Remember, happiness is a means of traveling, not a destination. Yes, I'm sorry.
Here's Wayne Willie in the chat. I think it's Wayne Willie. Yeah, it looks like Wayne Willie. I'm going to go to the voting place dressed in all red, so there's no question who I'm voting for. Good idea, Wayne.
Yeah, I like it. I did. I wore red last time. And you know what? I face painted. I don't know you people that followed Seinfeld for years. Remember when Elaine was, when she was saying she was going to date that guy and she liked him. And then that Sunday he picked her up for a game and he was a face painter. And back then that was considered taboo, like they were a little weird, Honey, I'm saying I sucked on that paint faster than you can say jack squat. I was happy to do it. I would have written Trump across my forehead and across my cleavage. Just saying, I would have said anything. And then running down the street barking at people. And I almost did that. So guys, get excited. Share that excitement. Because remember, passion sells things more than stats, more than anything. Because the Dems, remember guys, they act off of feelings, not facts. We act off of facts, not feelings. But if you are both, if you are armed with the facts and you've got a passion for what you're doing and for the country that you are representing, then that is going to sell people on the MAGA movement faster than anything. Nothing is more attractive than someone who is really passionate about what they're talking about or what they believe in.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of the chat is telling the Tigers is saying, I'm going to remind all my family and friends to vote. We have to get everybody out there. This is not a lock. Just because the delusion is over, the left still believes it's going on. Unbelievably. Now the media is talking about the 3 nuts in Congress want to impeach Donald Trump. I don't know what for, but I guess it's AOC believes it's her duty to impeach Donald Trump for some reason. I don't know why, but
Well, if they do, that will be the end of their chances. Not that it's not already crushed, but they'll know it then anyway, because America is not going to stand for them to impeach a duly elected president. Because think about it, guys. The Republicans have run the country before. The Democrats have run the country before. But this is the first time that people have got a chance to run it. And by golly, I'm not going to let it go without a fight. I don't know about y'all. And if I'm going to stick my neck out there, then you better come along with me for the ride, because I'm not that brave.
You know what? I got a message for AOC. Ready, Doc?
I'm ready.
Y me acuesto el sur, ya para abrir el restaurante que era el arroz. Y me llama el cocinero. Risita, ¿qué? Ve por la paellera. Venga, que las 2 de la tarde ya están aquí. Mira, en bañador. En las chanclas. Todo despeinado porque no me dio tiempo nada ponerme las chanclas y el bañador. Voy a la playa, había subido la marea. Jesús, había subido la marea y encontré una paella. Y la encontré porque estaba la paellera agarrada entre las piedras de Chipiona, del faro. Y cuando entro en el restaurante me ve el cocinero con una paellera y adentro la 20 paelleras. ¡Asómate, mira dónde llega el agua!
There you go, AOC. That's what I got to say to you.
Oh my God, when he does that, I worry for him because I'm the mother of an asthmatic. So when he's doing that, I am going, is he breathing? Is he breathing? But I don't know which is more contagious, his laugh or James. I am telling you that James is the funniest laugh. They get me giggling just because they're giggling. Absolutely.
Oh, Doc, you know what? I promised you
My allergies are terrible.
I promised you a couple tweets here, and I've got them. Where'd that other one go? Oh, I got a tweet here for the 15 that left the 15 pro-life ministry has helped 15 abortion workers leave industry since the opening of the movie Unplanned. That was from Breitbart.
Right? And it is just it's having much greater success than they ever dreamed. And my understanding is that we have the My Pillow guy for greasing the skids. I believe Chris Mack had Tiffany, and I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering her name. It's Henry, I believe is her name, on talking about that. And that, again, liberal Hollywood tries to put the kibosh on anything pro-life. They don't mind being sure to step on everybody else's rights, but they don't want to do it theirs. I just makes me so mad. I just can't see straight.
Well, we got one that will make you happy. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. In Texas, we support the lives of the innocent children. The Texas House voted 93-1 for the Born Alive Act.
I want to know who that one is, because I'm gonna make them so regret that they chose that. If I have to call them, write them, sit on their front porch, honey, I'm telling you, they aren't getting any relief once I find out who that is, because we don't roll that way in Texas. But I love
probably somebody from Austin.
He might be.
Right?
Huh?
Probably somebody from Austin, right, Doc?
Oh, I would think, because they're liberal pockets in all the major cities, and Austin is the king of it. I used to live there, and there are really about 3 or 4 different sectors in the Austin community, and that's high tech, which we know is liberal, government, which we know is liberal. We have the speaker of our house is a rhino, a California rhino that got voted in by mistake, which we've got to rectify. And then, of course, you have the hippies that moved there way back when and never left. You know, we have Hippie Hollow, the nudist beach and everything. I took my mama there. I had to go see that there was really people that would walk around naked. And the funny thing about it is the ones that did really shouldn't have. I'm just saying. Anyway, the ones that could didn't. But and the funniest part about it was my mother was less shocked about it than I was. But I had to go see these people would really run around naked. So
well, Monica says in the chat, Monica says you're on the case on that one vote. You're going to be on the case.
That's right. Detective Denise is on the case. And then, you know, so everything in Austin with that's associated with the big city is liberal.
Oh,
so, you know, and then of course we have the university there, which again, you know, because we have surrendered the institutions of higher learning in America, we have let them grow their own little army of left-wing libnuts. So we've got to really take that back. We've got to fight fire with fire. We've got to get excited because that'll draw our young people. And we've got to work at teaching them every chance we get, or, you know, confront them with facts. Did y'all see that show this week where they were showing the kids quotes from Obama, and they were loving it when it was really quotes from President Trump? I thought that was so fun. It just gives the look of utter amazement on their faces.
Those are great when they do that, and it's like it's really Pelosi that said something, or Bernie Sanders. And
I love those shows. We need to do more of those undercover ones, you know. But I think again, you always draw more audience, more people with passion, with excitement, with happiness than you do with vinegar. So we got to remember, though we're conservative, that doesn't mean we don't have joy in our lives. That doesn't mean we can't laugh. That doesn't mean we can't joke, have a good time while we're doing it. So all the people in the MAGA movement that I've met have been pretty fun people. So we just got to let it show.
That's right. Well, our internet stayed green for the last 20 minutes, Doc, and we got 1 minute left. Well, no, we got 0 minutes. It's 11 o'clock already. Can you believe it? And
no, it always goes so fast. Just about the time I'm getting my groove and really remember what I wanted to tell you people, it's already almost over.
Well, we wanted to go live now. So going forward, we're going to go live. We're not going to pre-tape the show anymore. We're going to...
Unless we have to now, because remember, we are working parents. So, you know, if we have to, we will.
Yes. We may have a pre-tape show here and there, but for the most part, we're going to go live. So this was our first night live. I'm glad, you know, we had a lot of people in tonight. Everybody's welcome. Just stay respectful to each other.
I'm sorry, I feel like I got to interrupt. Scott is promising to come clean our houses naked if I saw the quote right. So I'm sorry. Scott, not necessary. I'll take the house cleaned. But I prefer a few clothes. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Live would be awesome.
You know,
Christy, we are live. I don't know if she realizes it. We are live, so I'll put my dogs outside naked today.
She's a little sweetheart. Hey guys, before we run out of time, could I give one little quick shout out? I had two people this week. My dearest friend from growing up, elementary school on, Connie Scarborough, was diagnosed with breast cancer this last couple of weeks and has begun her treatment. And I wanted to remind her that I love her and that I know that God has got this because I asked him to. And my very dearest friend from college, Ron, you know who you are. And he has been my buddy for many, many years. And he was also diagnosed with cancer this last week. So I wanted to remind both those people that I'm praying for them and that I'm not worried a bit because I know God's got them because I asked him to, and he knew this was coming way before they did. So I know he's already in this situation. So if you would just be so kind as to join me in prayer for my two friends, Ron and Connie. I love you, and I appreciate all of y'all helping me pray for them this week.
Yes, please do. And Doc,
and
I
remember,
didn't mean to.
Easter, guys.
While you were talking, I didn't mean to laugh, but some of the chat is pretty funny. They're telling Scott to put on a loincloth. He said he'll wear a Speedo. Someone said a fig leaf.
Well, I hear Speedos are making a comeback, so,
Well, happy Easter,
whatever
everybody.
floats your boat, just make sure it's in your boat, not mine.
Happy,
but I'll take the house cleaning, Scott.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Remind me, and I'll DM you my address, okay, if you don't have it already.
Scott, don't get arrested on Easter running around with a fig leaf on.
If you do, remember, you're deaf and I don't speak English.
Oh. Well, enjoy
guys,
later.
I hope y'all have a great week of nagging. And y'all don't forget to say hi in all the scopes. Don't forget to keep coming back each week as we celebrate. We're going to get better, guys. We just work within the boundaries of the technological resources that we have. And we appreciate y'all being with us even through all of the technical challenges. But I appreciate my buddy sticking with me through it all.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise with him around.
Doc, I do have a photo of you, a screenshot from yesterday.
You better not. If you do, you are dead meat. I will reach through this internet and I will hurt you right now. And if I don't, I will find you. Remember, I can touch your wife. I will tattle it if I have to.
Thank you, everybody.
Now, if it's a picture of POTUS hugging me, that would be entirely all right, but not from yesterday anyway. Guys and girls, I have the knack of either being able to look decent or look homeless all in the same week.
No,
I call it flexibility.
Oh, can I at least show Chris Mack?
Chris Mack threw the gauntlet down. And Chris, all I've got to say is paybacks are hell. Just wait and see what comes your way. You should have made sure I was padlocked to my cage before you rattled it like that, thinking I was going to be on that pole looking like that. And if I'm going to be on that pole, I'm going to be looking good.
Oh, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Guys, catch us on the flip side. Yes, have a wonderful week. And y'all come back and see us again.